Sector is clear.
Give us everything we got! All wings.
What's up guys, Matt Hutch back with another video. So this is part 2 of the star car videos. This one starts with Luke Skywalker and goes all the way to the end with BB9E. And I hope you guys enjoy this. If you haven't watched part 1, go watch part 1. But if you guys are looking for a specific character, I don't have to tell you, just look on the game right now, see the character orders. That's what the order is from my list. So yeah, I just made a dick with my footprints in this clip. That's why I added it, because it's funny as shit. It is during the all powerful mode. But anyways, back to the video. Please like, subscribe, and enjoy. I recently got Luke to level 100, so pretty psyched about that. Repulse will deal bonus damage to targets staying within half its radius. Self-explanatory, super helpful. Luke can do an extra dash. I've already gone into this one, and his push is increased. His push is easily his best ability in my mind, so this is super helpful. I'd say another ability I'd use are this one. I love this one, where his lightsaber damage gets increased. I think this is super helpful. So if I were to switch these two, I would. I think these are the two that I'd switch. But other than that, I think these two have to be equipped. But if you're not going to equip this card, I'd say push has a greater knockback. So yeah, those are my favorite loot cards. Say these 5, these two, and then the ones who are already selected. Next up, Leia. Now Leia, I've had some changes with her cards. I like her can regenerate more base health. That's super helpful, because who doesn't want extra health? These health cards are insane. But anyways, going on. I don't typically use this card ever. That's called her alternate fire, deals bonus damage. Now I don't usually use her alternate fire that much, so I'm not gonna select that card. But this is super helpful on long distance maps where you're using the alternate fire a lot, because it basically from distance, that thing is homed in on whoever is in its radius. But the E11 rapid fire blaster can be fired for a longer period as the time reduction per blaster shot is decreased. This is super helpful because this is easily her best ability, and honestly I think is a top 5 ability in the game. It is so OP now, so OP. I love it. So next up we got the blast radius of thermal detonates. I think this is super helpful. I mean, it's only one, but hey, one's better than none, so. But Leia receives less damage while wielding the E11. That obviously helps, but not the card I'm gonna use. If she's within 15 meters of 2 friendly units, Leia and her close allies will take reduced damage. I love this card. I'd probably, instead of this card, I'd probably use this card. Because, let's be honest, Leia's gonna be with her team the whole fucking game. She's not necessarily the type to go run off and do her own thing like, say, Vader or Anakin or Luke. So I do love this card. Next up though, we've got Lando. Now Lando's self-explanatory. He's got one good ability. That's his Deadeye and sharpshooter ability. This thing is OP. You literally spin in a 360 motion. It locks onto every enemy, and you shoot it, and it kills them. Self-explanatory. And this, he has more base maximum health, obviously. So that's the cards I use for Lando. Kylo, just got him to 100, level 100 as well. Definitely one of my top 4 characters. So, Kylo can leap longer distance when attacking with his Frenzy attack. Frenzy is probably the 3rd best ability, I'd say, in the game, considering it literally is aimbot for a lightsaber. You cannot miss a shot with it, and it goes through blocks. It's OP. Kylo deals bonus damage with Frenzy. Pretty self-explanatory. Pull deal more damage to enemies. That obviously can help, but it only deals 10 damage. That's 60. I mean, yeah, it makes every infantry one shot when they come to you. That's super helpful, but I'm not usually using pull like to kill people. I'm using it to pull them to me so I can use Frenzy. So this is probably the card that I'd use other than one of these cards. So as we get to the next card, he drains less stamina. Kylo Ren doesn't have the best stamina in the game. Frankly, I think his stamina is pretty bad. So, in order to counter that, I think this is a awesome card to use, because personally, I'm not the best with my stamina. So more stamina the better. So I'd probably, if I were to take away any of these cards, which would probably be this card, which is actually super helpful. It's hard. I might actually take away this one for this. Most of the time, you're just spamming that Frenzy ability because it's 10-second recharge. So yeah, we'll go with this one. We'll test that out. But not to give you a wrong idea, this is my normal setup. But we're gonna test that out. Next up, we have Finn. Finn, as you can see, it's all its Deadeye ability, because his Deadeye ability is insane. All his other abilities, I'm not a fan of. I mean, his pistol's pretty OP, but his Deadeye ability is insane. It is literally aimbot to its almost max. It's not as good as Lando's, but it is active for a longer time, and you can keep it going for literally the whole game if you just constantly run into enemies with it and just kill them all. So that's probably not going to happen, very unlikely, but it is super helpful. Next up, we've got Captain Phasma. I'm not a Phasma fan at all, but her droid is OP, and Phasma gains more health when using Survivor. Survivor's a very similar ability to Darth Vader's Focus Rage. Pretty sure, I can't think of the name off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's Focus Rage. Don't quote me on that, but her droid is OP. She relies on her droid. Without a droid, she would be an infantry, a reinforcement. Like, she's as good as a reinforcement without the damn droid. And the health boost. Her health is actually insane with this. It's the same as Darth Vader's if you use Darth Vader's health cards. If you use this ability with this star card added. So, there you go. Next up, General Grievous, one of my favorite characters in the game. was making a video, or I had a 74 kill streak on Grievous, which is why I'm making this video right now. Is I've been wanting to make this video, but I really haven't had the motivation. But someone asked me what my star cards for Grievous were, and that's what really pushed me to make this video. So I don't know if the commenter wanted to be named, but shoutouts to you, because you're the reason why I'm making this video right now. So let's get into it. I use his increased maximum health regen, because that is so helpful with Grievous, because you lose a lot of health with Grievous. He's a character who you must flank with. You can't just go balls in with, man. Balls deep with. You gotta have a plan before you rush into a bunch of enemies, because his block is awful. It is easily the worst in the game. It honestly, if I were a new player, I think it was bugged. I think it should get a buff. Like, please give him a buff, because it is awful. And even in the show, in the movie, I don't know if he blocks any blaster bullets in the movie, but I know for a fact his block isn't that bad. So anyways, thrust surge. I love his thrust surge. I think, that's got a quick cooldown. It's definitely his second best ability. It's super useful for getting that pesky enemy a little too far for his swing. So I definitely love using this ability, and I definitely love using this card. But next up, his best ability, deals more damage with Claw Rush. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's OP, and with extra damage, it basically shreds through everybody. His Unrelenting Advance deals more damage. Now, it's not that buggy anymore, but it is very clanky. So I don't typically use this unless I get a hero on my ass and he wants a smoke. So heroes versus villains, definitely use this card, but if not, don't use this card. Now the cards that I would switch the Thrust Surge with are probably his Claw Rush card or his other Thrust Surge card that targets enemies further away. Now honestly, these two cards go perfectly hand in hand, and these two go perfectly hand in hand. So there you go, there's your Grievous star cards. They're my favorite star cards. So there you go. Next up, quick shout out to Max Wilson for asking me to do this video. I've been wanting to do this video for a little while, and he asked for it, so here it is. He asked for it on the Grievous 74 kill streak. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, Obi-Wan's got two insane abilities and one ability that's been nerfed into the ground. Now, let's get into it. His health regen is already, I'm pretty sure, the best in the game. You add 100 to that, that's 400 health regen. That's insane. Might be 450, not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. All Out Push is his best ability. The amount of enemies you can just take out with this, I swear, there's only been a few times where I haven't killed heavies with this ability. It is an awesome ability. So if you're gonna list all your star cards off one ability, I'd use this star card and the two All Out Push star cards. But Defensive Rush is super good for closing that gap between you and your enemies, and it dealing more damage is so helpful, especially because I'm pretty sure it almost one-shots heavies. It gets them down to like 20 HP, I'm pretty sure. It's either 20 or 10. It one-shots all infantry except for heavies with this star card increased. one of my favorite cards for Kenobi. Actually, it is my probably third favorite card for Kenobi. But if you're not using these 3 cards, I'd use Charge Up. Next up, Count Dooku. Dooku. I use his max health regeneration, obviously, because 120 is a lot added to. Pretty sure he has a 250, so that'd be 370 health regen, which is pretty nuts. Drains less stamina when blocking and attacking. Double whammy, super helpful. Next up, his lightning stuns. I'd use either of these cards because that's his best ability. Duelist, I'd use his duelist. This one right here that increases the damage because I think his duelist is second best ability. And then his exposed weakness is a great ability that slows down your enemies and makes them way easier to kill. So I think he has a great set of abilities, but I think his best ability is definitely his lightning stun and his duelist, adding more damage to already a load of damage that I'm pretty sure one-shots heavies when this is activated, not 100%, is super helpful. So moving on, we've got Anakin Skywalker, my personal favorite character in all of Star Wars and in Battlefront. Now he's got a lot of cards. Anakin Skywalker's increased maximum health, obviously that #1 card that you have to use. Now for me, when I'm going on kill streaks, he deals more damage with his lightsaber, drains more stamina. Hey, his abilities are just so good that you can lose that stamina and still be fine, perfectly fine. So this lightsaber attack is huge. This is probably his second best card. Next is Heroic Might, deals more base damage. Super helpful. It's probably his best ability in the game. Probably the best ability in the game other than Retribution. So this is definitely the other card. These are the 3 main cards I use, but if I were to give you another card or 2 to use, I'd probably do his yeah, this one. If his pull damage does more damage to 2 or more players if caught by it, this is super helpful. This one-shots heavies. I love using this card because I tend to use pull a lot. If I'm just like constantly using my abilities and I'm just ability spamming with Anakin, like that 134 I got, that was more of a jokingly like this is how to be annoying with Anakin kind of video. Well, if I were to switch this one out, I'd definitely switch this one in, and if I were to switch this one out, I'd switch this one in. So this is probably his 4th best card. Next up, I would use this card, or I would use either another Heroic Might or Pull Dominance card. So his Passionate Strike is awful. It's awful. It takes too long for it to deal damage and actually get the swing off, and I mean, it goes through lightsaber blocks, which is why it's a really good ability, but it's an awful ability against anyone else. Anyone who's half decent. So moving on, I'm pretty sure it's BB-8. Yes, it is. Alright, BB-8 has a lot of good cards. His health regeneration, obviously, as this as videos gone on, you've noticed I always had those health regens or added health cards. They're so OP. But anyways, going into it, cable spin, one of the best, one of the best, abilities. Jesus, brain fart there. One of the best abilities in the game. Both damage and area of effect for cable spin are increased. That is insanely helpful. Probably one of the best star cards in the game. Because this just is a double whammy, increases and helps you a lot. But next up, every shock, every 3 defeated enemies or 300 damage dealt to a villain, the shock damage increases to a maximum. This is super helpful. I love this card, but if I'm not using this card, I'm using this one. And that's BB-8 deals more damage when hitting an enemy with a rolling charge. This one-shots heavies, this ability. So you add this, I'm pretty sure that's going to one-shot some reinforcements. This ability is insane. I think BB-8 might have the best set of abilities in the game. Not the best, but he's up there. So, if I'm not using one of those abilities, I'm using cable spin or this one right here. So yeah. Next up, BB9E, and last up, we have BB9E. Now, for BB9E, he's easily the worst character in the game. But I do like how his enemy hit by a shock spin will push 4 meters further but its cooldown is increased. That's fine. He has only one good ability in my mind. Well, I mean, his shock is what's it called, smoke screen isn't that bad, but this is definitely his best ability, without a doubt. And throwing enemies further increases the damage. And the only time I really use him is on the First Order Dreadnought, because it throws them off the edge. Now that's kind of a douche move. I wouldn't encourage it, but it's definitely when he shines and when he's at his best. So next up, for every successful enemy stuns, the damage is increased, same as BB-8's. And this one is shock spin, hits multiple targets, damage will be doubled for the remaining active time. Super helpful. Pretty self-explanatory, added damage. But anyways, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Please like, subscribe, and click that bell for more. Go check out other videos that I have posted, and have a wonderful day.